You're listening to Mind, Body, Home with your host, Sara Ann. Hello, friends. Thank you for tuning in again this week. I have something a little bit different for you today. I'm actually going to read you a small section from the book I'm reading right now called Beauty, the Invisible Embrace, Rediscovering the True Sources of Compassion, Serenity, and Hope by John O'Donohue. And this book is really interesting. It was introduced to me by a dear friend of mine. And in conversation one day, this book just popped into her mind and she just said, "You have to read this book. It's perfect for everything you're experiencing and going through and, within your world of design and feng shui and just how making things around you beautiful. This book is really going to speak to you." And she just knew that it would. And I ordered the book. Gosh, it had to have been probably close to a year ago. And I think I opened it. I tried to read it. I couldn't get into it, not because it wasn't enjoyable. I think there was just too many other things going on in my life. If you've been following me for a while now, then you know that a lot has been unfolding in my life. But regardless, I had packed this book away, and during my recent unpacking, it popped up to me and I thought, oh, this is perfect because it's pool season. So this is my new poolside companion. And there's one section I just finished reading that I thought, wow, like these are the words that I hope to convey to my audience, right? In my messaging, in sharing the way in which our home can be a beautiful, supportive vessel for our journeys, right? Whether it's a healing journey, whether it's a transformational journey, whether it's just acting as a support system, our home can be that for us if we choose to see it that way. And so many of us are living amongst our houses, inside of our homes, just sort of taking it for granted. And I think that once you realize that it can be a manifestation tool, it can be a supportive piece of your journey, it can be a tool in your toolkit for healing, I think that you will find a greater appreciation for your home. And you will then begin a really sweet interaction between yourself and home. And you will embrace all that it wants for you. And I know for some, maybe that sounds a little out there, but you know what? I don't really care because this is what home means to me. And it doesn't matter where you live, where you are in your life. Your home is the most sacred environment that you will ever have. And so I'm going to read this short excerpt from the book. I'll put all the information to the book in the show notes if it's something that resonates with you and you want to read a little bit more. But here goes. To the house of beauty to bless the journey. Time lives differently in the house of God. When you drive through a city, town, or village, the house of God stands out. It is unlike any other house. The contrast was infinitely clearer in former times. Many modern churches lack architectural beauty. They imitate the surrounding blandness. In former times, when people were much poorer, they struggled sometimes for decades to build a church. Resources and monies were gathered from every corner in order to erect a beautiful house where the divine presence could trust itself among us. A beautiful house where the reverence of great ritual could at times unveil the glory of the divine. Beauty in its ultimate presence is divine glory. I have had the delightful experience of traveling through some small French village and visiting a local church. Outside, the day is seared with summer light. Then you enter the beautiful kept darkness of the church. Magnificent stained glass absorbs the white fire of outside light. It harnesses the fire into its narrative of color. And among the sleep of dark stone, a sequence of cobalt blue, indigo, or golden yellow comes alive. To the pilgrim who breaks his journey to come in and pray, they offer shy yet beautiful light that restores your seeing, and you remember who you are. For a while, you come to sense the providence that secretly shapes and guides your life. Your burdened mind relents and your soul comes to ease in the shelter of the divine. In a great religious tradition, the house of God is a special place. The church, the temple, the mosque is where a community gathers to hear God. Cumulatively, over the years, the interior becomes threaded with the desires, intimacies, and longings of a community. The interior of God's house is not a vacant space. It is the place where the spiritual eros of a community collects. This interior is richly textured with the aura of those who have worshipped there. When one enters, there one does not simply enter a building, rather one enters unknowingly the gathered memory. This house is a living archive of transcendence. This is the space where the voice of God became audible, where that tranquility which the world cannot give waits to comfort the mind. People have come into this house with burdens of heart that could find healing nowhere else in the world. They have come in here for shelter when storms have unraveled every stitch of meaning from their lives. And they have come in, too, to give thanks for blessings and gifts they could never have earned. The house of God is a frontier region, an intense threshold where the visible world meets the ultimate but subtle structures of the invisible world. We enter this silence and stillness in order to decipher the creative depths of the divine imagination that dreams our lives. Somewhere in this kept darkness, the affection that created us waits to bless and heal us. It's so good, right? I mean, even just rereading it again, I feel the presence of beauty around me. And all I really want to add to that excerpt is to start seeing your house such as this beauty that John speaks to, right? Coming off the heels of last week's episode, we talked about finding community. And yes, a church, a synagogue, mosque, all of those places are great to create community and do the work together, right? Having that sense of community is such an important part of anyone's journey, anyone's healing or transformational process, right? But you don't have to seek outside of yourself and your home to experience the work. On the flip side of that same coin is you can recreate that sense of sacred space within your own home. You can create that for yourself and your family, right? You know, COVID taught us a lot of things, and finding sanctuary in your own home is one of those things that I really integrated into my life. So I hope you enjoyed that. I have been thinking about doing little mini episodes like this, sharing different things that I read because I am a book nerd and I love, love, love when a book touches me in the core of my being. And so I don't know. I would love to know if you guys like having little episodes like this. I've actually considered doing an entire podcast focused on this. We'll see. I don't know. I have so many ideas. But regardless, if this short excerpt resonated with you, then please, by all means, go buy the book. It's so poetic. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And that's it. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Until next week, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you so much for listening. This episode is brought to you by Jade Scott Design. Jade Scott Design houses a collection of services, products, and content that are aimed to support mind, body, and home. If you're interested in exploring your relationship to home on a deeper level, be sure to check out our website. Offerings include our signature Elemental Interiors decorating services, as well as mind, body, home alignment sessions. In addition, be sure to also take a look at our home decor line, Shop Elemental. All of this and information on the Mind, Body, Home podcast can be found at jadescottdesign.com.